So the oils that I brought are coconut oil. Coconut oil is considered to be the best for Pitta, okay, for Pitta type skins. But also you will be testing all of these oils on your own personal skin to see which you personally like best right now, okay, because that is also important. Okay. Another that I brought is avocado oil. So avocado, if you think of the qualities of avocado, it's also cool, but it's also a little more heavy than coconut, for example. So it can be like very grounding, okay, for example, but it can also be cool. And then I also have olive oil. So olive oil is also very similar to sesame. If you think about the nasya that I have, the nasya that I have is sesame and olive oil. And so they're very similar, and honestly, I think if olives grew in India, they would very likely have used olive oil for everything instead of sesame. I think why you go to Italy, they use olive oil instead of sesame for everything. And so it's a bit of a warmer oil. It's considered to have a warmer energetic for the skin and as well. So this would be maybe more better for Kapha, for example, or better for Vata.
I have a question. So like for me, I think I'm the Pitta, but I usually cook with a lot of olive oil. Should I refrain from doing that? Like maybe it adds.
If you notice that it causes issues, yes. Or if you like really want to go hard on
like for the unbalances, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if I because I have it every day, that I feel some of these other.
That is something to keep in mind. Yeah, because as we eat a certain food, if you were to think about if you ate like chili peppers, obviously that's much more heat, that's much more fire. But if you eat that every day, it will have more effects, right? If you eat anything every day, it will have more effects over time.
And the avocado oil was for?
So the avocado oil, I actually very much personally like. It's very nourishing. And so, for example, for like this, it's almost empty actually because, for example, like for Vata during the summer, wow, it's cool, but it's also very heavy and nourishing and grounding. So it's amazing, for example. So yeah, what we'll do right now, I'll just bring around the different oils, and you can actually, I'll drop a bit sort of on your forearm, and you can just kind of massage that in. Feel what that feels like. I'll bring a different oil around. You can massage that in, feel how that feels like. See how your skin reacts to the different oils. And then I'll bring around the third oil and you'll get to try that, okay? So part of this is sort of recognizing like, which base oil do I like? Because as well, when we work with essential oils, most of the time you want to dilute it. So even when we diffuse essential oil, what we're doing is diluting it in the air, right? And so it's not like essential oil right into our nose, it's essential oil diffused out into the air. And when we work with it in our bodies, we generally want to have it in a base oil, because you can feel with some of these, if I were to put it on your skin, it would actually feel like it's like burning a little bit. So yeah, because there's such the concentration of the essence of the plant. Okay, so I'll start bringing these around. Feel free to take notes or just get into the experience. Okay, however you want to do. I personally love to work self-bodywork into Ayurveda sequencing. I think a lot of people, as I mentioned, I think as practitioners, we really want to actually bring people into an embodied state of being. We oftentimes actually want to really get people into touch with their own bodies and sensations and tensions. And particularly when we talk about tension, that is very much related to Pitta. And so Pitta in general responds very well to massage. Vata responds very well to massage because it is sort of an awakening, right? It's sort of a calming, a grounding, a soothing. Pitta because it reduces the tension, kind of tames the tension that is built up. Kapha because it actually moves what is stagnant. Okay, so massage is amazing and self-bodywork is amazing for all of the doshas. Okay, so where we'll start, you can dip your fingers in your oil and just start to rub your hands together. Right, kind of get your hands nice and oiled. Whenever you're working with massage, you want to start with your hands being oiled. And then in general, okay, I'll guide you through this, but in general, when you feel like you need more oil, or if you're working on a specific body part, say my hands are already oiled, I'm going to be giving a massage and I want to work on my knee, I would then put a little bit of extra oil on the knee and then work with that, okay? So first having the hands oiled, and I want you to rub your hands together to feel plenty of energy going on. And then from there, the first place we're going to be doing is actually, you can see me in just a moment, but I'm going to be, keep rubbing your hands together. I'm going to put my palms, just sort of that place right above my bridge of my nose, and just massage, just pass that warm heat upwards. And when you feel your hands start to get cool again, rub your hands together. And kind of get into that sensation of self-love, of self-care. once you've generated some of the heat, just passing that onto your forehead. Yeah. How does that feel? So this is generally so good, so soothing, so yummy. Just get a bit of that heat going on and passing that onto your forehead. Next space is going to be moving to the space right above the ears. So from here, I like to use the butt of my hand, this part, to actually get right above the ear, sort of all in around that space. You'll generally start to feel like there's some places of tension, especially if you have any jaw tension, which is a big Pitta thing, for example, clenching the jaw. Sort of this whole space above the ear is actually where the muscles of the jaw reside. So getting to the space behind your temples, above your ears. And you can even massage with your butts of your hands all the way towards the back of your skull even. And just start to feel what opens up for you. Massaging down to the space of your ears, and even to the back of your head. See what kind of opens up for you here. Next space is going to be bringing your fingers here behind the ears. And you can use a little oil here. And as you go behind the ears, up and down, you can also get into this place here where the jaw is. And there's often a little bit of tension hiding there. So you can actually get into that space right here between your ears and your jaw. And there's sometimes a little bit of tension right there, along your jawline. From here, you can massage up now to the space around your cheekbones, and even just above your cheekbones. Sometimes we store tension even on the muscles right above our cheekbones. And here, where it's also our temples. So massaging into that area, seeing if there's anywhere. And if you ever find anywhere that you're like, ooh, I want to give that a little more attention, please do it. Next point is to move into the ears. And so gently, lovingly caressing your ears down, the lobes down. And then even massaging them in little circles, like up to the sides. Just feeling what this feels like for you as you practice this. And as you make those circles, you can make them start to move up your ear. You can even get to the tops of your ears and pull them up a little bit. Pull, 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 not too hard. And even pull them out to the sides a little bit. Just to explore some of that sensation. Coming down now to the center of your ear, this mid part, pulling that out towards the side, and even opening your jaw and moving your jaw around. Moving your tongue around. Coming down now into the sides of the jaw again. And then start to work. Just first caress your neck, kind of let it know it's your next focus. And then you can get a little more oil if you need. And actually you're going to bring the base of your hand sort of up against this part of your neck. So sort of just behind the skull. And you can just move your hands up and down there. And you can even move now to the front side, sort of where the scalenes are. And just have a little bit of an upward and downward motion. Or even massaging inwards like this, towards the neck. From here, moving down into your shoulders, moving down into that space of your shoulders. Remember that you can get more oil if you ever want some. And just feel in from that practice from yesterday, for example. If there's anywhere here in your shoulders, you can give a little more love. Different ways to work with the shoulders, kind of like this as well, or even using your fingers to kind of press, press, press. From here, we have an acupressure point, which is here where the collarbones are, in the very center of the collarbones. If you find there's a little dip there, what I want you to do is actually inhale. Watch first, inhale and see it opens up a little bit. I'm actually going to push down on that space. So this is a grounding point. So you can close your eyes, just feel what it feels like. It may feel a little tender if you get in there a little bit. And the more tender it is, the more this is a grounding point for you. And so take a few moments to just feel, breathe into that, even if it's tender, as you just slightly bring the pressure down. Next point, here along your sternum, which is the center chest bone, where your ribs meet your sternum, there's a lot of points that can often be quite tender, sort of right between the sternum and those meeting points. So getting down and massaging down as far as you want until the base of the coracoid process, which is even down. And so in that space, you might feel some tenderness. And just give a little love to that tenderness you might feel, right at the points that meet the sternum. Next point is going to be here along the midline. If you see where my elbow is, and so if I measure where my bicep and elbow meet, and all the way to my wrist, in the mid part of my forearm, I'm actually going to be able to get into the tissue a little bit, get in through those tendons. And what I want is ideally to get into this center point of my forearm and then relax my forearm. Once I find something that's a little tender, really getting in there, relax my forearm open. Breathing into it once you've kind of found that space. And even as you breathe into a tender spot, it might actually start to move. So you can start to chase it. And don't be afraid to apply pressure. And once you've found it on that side, you feel like you've worked it a little bit, you can also now go to the other side. So feeling somewhere around the midpoint of your forearm, there's these tendons that come down from your wrist that you can feel. And generally when you get in between there, into that muscle, there's somewhere that might feel a little tender, especially when you start to rest your weight. And so this point is also a point for grounding. Simply relax your arm down over it if you like. You can continue to move your finger in little circles or simply apply pressure. Breathe into it. Next point is going to be here in this space of the elbow. So as you get in and around this space and even down a little into the forearm, you can sometimes feel what feels a little tender, a little uncomfortable. Especially oftentimes if you're working with someone and they say that in downward facing dog or handstand that it hurts, right? It hurts their hands, for example, is something someone might feel. It's actually often because this muscle is tight.
Around you.
Yeah. So yeah, sort of around the space of the elbow. And once you've done one side, getting into the other. You can even feel up the arm, making a few pressure points as you go up. Sort of feeling what it feels like in this space, sort of between your bicep and your tricep. If there's any tenderness, you can kind of start to move. Especially with time, as we practice self-oil massage, This is also something that's very recommended to do in the morning. You don't necessarily have to go so deep into all of the massage points, for example, but to give yourself an oil massage before a shower is also another Ayurvedic practice. So one way would be to be working with dry brushing, but obviously it's more dry. If you want to have more moisturized and hydrated skin, you would work with oil. Okay. So now we are moving on to our feet. So choosing one foot to work on first. And the first point that you're going to work on for the foot, the first point is sort of around the ankle bone itself on both sides. So here on both sides of the ankle, and just start to warm that tissue up. Start to give it a little love. Going in circles around that bone. And then the second point will be sort of in the space around the heel on both sides as well. And if you find anywhere, as you apply a little more pressure, that you feel like, ooh, that's generally a good place to kind of go in with your fingers and massage into it. And so most of us would think if someone we love wants to give us a foot massage, we'd be all for it, right? But why can't we give ourselves a foot massage? And so from there, you can also get into the rest of the foot. As you get into the rest of the foot, there's pressure points all throughout the foot related to many more organs than we even have time to talk about. But as well, when you start to get into massaging down the foot, you might find places that feel a little more tight, a little more tense. And you can even then look at reflexology charts, for example, to see, yeah, what is this related to? So massaging in and around your whole base of your foot. In general, Ayurveda would recommend that you would practice an oil massage before showering, in general, and especially if you're going to, if you're battling with insomnia or you feel grounded, you feel anxious at all, any type of like Vata energy is up in your mind, to practice a foot massage and a scalp massage before bed with oil. It's going to be very grounding. Whenever you feel ready to move on to the other foot, you can get into your toes for sure. Yeah, you can. There's pressure points all throughout the toes, for example. Yeah. Yeah, that gets into like, I mean, yeah, it's pressure points and also like polarity. Theory would state that, for example, if you have a very tight jaw, you often have very tight hips. So there's sort of a polarity that happens from our center for that.
What's the shoulder polarity?
Shoulders. I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it'd be like moving out. So shoulders are generally going to be something happening in the gut, for example. Or like liver area even. So once you've done the circles around the ankle bones, also circles around the heel. And there's specific pressure points, especially related to like the kidneys and also reproductive organs, all around this ring here. And so if you feel any like tightness, kidneys are very much associated with Vata energy actually.
What about spleen?
Spleen. I'm not an expert about where your spleen points are. Spleen is in your body over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually have almost
With solar plexus.
your crunches, your abdominal muscles. This means they get cramped.
Yeah, interesting.
So that's the exercise I have. And you never ever choose abdominal.
Interesting. So having loved both of your feet, I'm going to share with you all two particular points that are very much related to like creative energy, which you could look at as sexual energy or sexual creative energy, however you want to look at it. But in particular, these points can be really great if you're about to do some creative work. For example, you're about to try and sit down and make sequences, or you want to do something else, or you want to do something intimate with a partner, whatever it is, or you just want to do something intimate with yourself. So these points, to sort of round out our practice. The first point is kind of from your belly button. Put one finger into your belly button. I don't know. You can see this. Yeah. So one point is right in my belly button. I'll just show you. Okay. So one point is right in my belly button. And in my other hand, I'm going to take 2 fingers distance right beneath that finger. Okay. And then I'm taking my other hand, coming to the finger right beneath that. Okay. And from here, I want you to push in. And just close your eyes, and as you push in here, and you can make little circles, you can start to feel what that feels like. So also knowing that this is often very much associated with creative energy, sexual energy. This is one of the energies that is most likely to become blocked. Because of everything. Think about society, think about all of the things you would want to create, all of your dreams that maybe haven't come true, how frustrated that can be, right? All of that, a lot of that can get locked into this part. Okay? So the next point is actually if you find your pubic bone and just above the pubic bone. So not the, imagine if like this is my pubic bone, this is my pubic bone, I'm going to be coming in. This is the front of my body. I'm going to be coming in sort of like right here, and even almost as if I were to pull that tissue a little bit. So coming in right to the pelvic floor, finding the pubis, coming right above it. And as well, you can either press or make little circles and breathe very deeply. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and give yourself a big hug. Thank yourself for the love. Thank yourself for the own exploration. Thank yourself for the potential that you have to share love with yourself, to care for yourself, to nurture yourself, to be your own best friend, be your own best lover, your own best healer. And go ahead and lay down for a bit of shavasana. Here in Shavasana, you may even want to reconnect to the feelings that you went through this morning. That point where you were working on letting go. All that you worked on integrating today. All that you worked on letting go. As you breathe, drawing your energy up to the crown of your head. And if you can, light up your skull with your own breath. Feel as if little pieces of unprocessed material are actually falling away as you start to understand and recognize on a very deep level why you're here. What is it that brought you to this training? What is it that brought you into this space? And allow that light of knowing to illuminate yourself from the neck. From there, feeling how this light can move into the space of your neck. And how you can actually tense your neck muscles and also let them then go. Becoming aware of how your breath moves in and out of your throat. And how your chest as well rises and falls. Clearing up more space so that your spirit can be there. Feel how your heart becomes brighter every time you take a breath. Feel how that goes from your heart down into your hands. Begins to extend further into your abdomen. As all of these parts of you become more connected, more integrated, and your own awareness is washing away that which you're ready to let go. Moving down now into the space of your core and your hips. Feeling how your body responds, knowing that you have done something kind for it. You have taken time to rest, massage, and throughout your day you will be nourishing and caring for yourself. What visceral experience opens for you with that knowledge? Moving beyond the space of your hips, past your perineum and into your legs, as you continue to wash your breath down past your knees, all the way into your ankles, and into your feet that we're so happy to receive a little extra light. Down into your toes. Connecting with every single point, you make a connection with the earth. As you are breathing here, thank yourself for having showed up for yourself again and again and again. What can you feel happening inside of you, knowing that today was one more day filled with love and filled with greater connection to yourself? Take a deep breath. Exhale through the mouth. Begin to wiggle toes, fingers. And then rolling off to one side, knees bent. And then pushing yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. As you breathe for yourself, bow down in the presence of your own ability to love yourself, no matter what. Thank you.